and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Arlington. We are an intentionally welcoming congregation, open to people of all backgrounds, races, genders, sexual orientations, and abilities. At UUCA, we encourage people to come for community, find inspiration, and live with purpose together. My name is Burke Kapler, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees and its chair. Today is Sunday, September 11th, and whether this is your first time worshiping with us or this is your regular Sunday routine, we're glad you're here. For me, fall, and especially this early time in September, just after Labor Day, is one of my favorite parts of the year. Now that the summer has passed, the weather is starting to cool, arguably, and people are back to school and work and activities, and everything just seems so focused and purposeful and full of energy. And UUCA is no exception. There is so much going on today. So first, today is Ingathering and Homecoming Sunday. If you, like me, have been away for the summer for whatever reason, this is a great opportunity to reconnect with the church and to refresh yourself. On a practical level, it means that we're resuming our services at 9:15 and 11:15, which clearly you knew. More importantly, it means a host of activities will be ramping up shortly, and you're invited to dive in and explore. So for instance, as a public service announcement, I'm supposed to tell you that Covenant Group signups will be taking place in Fellowship Hall after the service today. Or you can sign up online, or you can find Topher. Be sure to keep an eye on the church's website and on our online Connections newsletter for all the happenings. Speaking of connections, and this is public service announcement number 2, you can see in the most recent edition of Connections a survey from the Campus Reopening Task Force on COVID, masking, and vaccination protocols. The CRTF, the Campus Reopening Task Force, is looking for your input. Please take a look and provide it. There will also be a standalone email going out to the congregation tomorrow. Enough of that. Today is also Water Communion, where we'll be gathering and sharing and mingling water from near and far. And today is also a day for blessing backpacks, bags, briefcases, and purses, something you can use to carry a blessing from UUCA into your regular life. And last but not least, if it wasn't actively raining, we would be having a picnic today. Now that's been postponed to September 25th, 2 weeks from today, so stay tuned for more information. And if we can do all of this on just one part of a Sunday, imagine what we at UUCA can do in the rest of the week. As we launch this new church year, already so busy and exciting, I hope it is a blessed and happy one for you. And welcome.
Good morning. Oh, that was so sad, y'all. Okay. I'll come to the middle. Good morning. Yes. We invite you all into this space, into this service of ingathering, of return, of welcome. And what we want to do is we invite you is let you kind of say hello to each other. So in this moment, please say hello to whoever is next to you, share a smile, perhaps wave. Feel to make a big wave by standing up. Hug someone if you are inclined. We are home. We are home. Please join me, Amanda. This morning's call to worship was inspired by two colleagues of mine and Amanda's, Reverend Kimberly Carlson and Reverend Michelle Thompson. Today, in congregations large and small all around the globe, Unitarian Universalists are celebrating homecoming, ingathering, and the ritual of water communion. For just a moment, we are stopping the headlong rush into the next thing we must do or the next responsibility we must take care of. We are intentionally coming together to mark the beginning of this new church year, returning to a collective of people who love reflection, song, music, and this moment in time when we worship together. This is the defining moment for our community.
Together we are defining not only who we are, but also why we choose to be together. This morning we gather to share our stories, to consider what is sacred, to grow in relationship with one another. We will mark our belonging by blending water from rivers, streams, lakes, oceans, and our everyday garden hoses.
Remember, it is not by chance that you have arrived here today. You have been looking for something larger than yourself. It is right here.
Inside of you, there is a yearning, a calling, a hope for more, a desire for a place of belonging and caring. You have, I hope, found it.
Here today, you have arrived at a very special place, a place that holds its arms open to possibilities of change, a community that honors your gifts and nurtures your spirit, a home place where you can experience your deepest sense of belonging. Welcome to worship. Welcome to your home place. Welcome to your home.
Each week before we light our chalice, which marks our sacred space, we light a candle of compassion, holding in our hearts all those experiencing violence, loss, sorrow today. Today is the anniversary of 9/11, and we hold especially in our hearts all those whose lives were lost that day, all those who grieve them still, our nation and its response, the Arlington community and the Pentagon community who felt these losses so deeply, and the moment in time as it passes is marked and moves into the future.
We continue our morning ritual by lighting our chalice. We gather together as a community of memory and hope to celebrate life and its infinite possibilities for love. Please join me in the words that are in your order of service. We light this chalice as a symbol of the light within every human heart. May our individual sparks meet and merge, bringing both light and warmth to the world.
We're going to be singing We're Coming Home, and it's not a familiar song, so I'm going to teach it to you one line at a time, and then we'll stand and sing. It goes like this. We're coming home to the Spirit on our soul. Let's try that. We're coming home to the Spirit in our soul. We're coming home, and the healing makes us whole. We're coming home, and the healing makes us whole. Terrific. The last line. Like rivers running to the sea. We're coming home. We're coming home. Like rivers. Like rivers running to the sea. We're coming home. We're coming home. I invite you to rise in body and spirit, and let's sing this through twice together. Good job on the quick study. We're coming home to the Spirit in our soul. We're coming home, and the healing makes us whole. Like rivers running to the sea, we're coming home.
Hey, Rev CTC.
Hey, I think we're doing something.
I think we need some backpacks.
I think we need some things.
Some backpacks.
Some
maybe
laptops.
some purses.
Purses.
Would be fine.
Wallets.
Some wallets. You want to bring them on up here. You can
Satchels.
come bring your backpacks right on up if you have them. If you'd like to come sit here with them, that's great. Just come on up.
So for
Come
those
on up.
of you
Let's-
who
come
may
on.
be
There we go. Oh, there we go.
confused,
Yeah,
there
come
we
on
go.
up, Julia.
There we
Bring up
go.
that purse. Here we go. Yeah, bring the
Yes,
backpack.
yes.
Thank you very much. Bring it
We
up.
are
bring it
about
up.
to bless
you can
the
stay
backpacks.
if you want. You want to sit down with your backpack?
You can stay. You can
Look at
join
those
us.
Jewels on
Thank you,
your,
Burr.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to bless those too.
And this is not a limited blessing.
Come on. Ooh, yeah.
Bring a purse, bring a backpack,
Bring it up.
bring
You
a
can- you wanna sit down
satchel,
with it?
bring
Yeah,
a
come on, sit down. Sit with us.
laptop. At the
Okay.
9:15, I suggested people bring their wallets,
Yes.
their credit cards.
Sure, we'll bless it. Whatever. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We will
Come on
bless whatever you
Oh,
would like
good.
to
Yep.
bring.
That's good. That's
Yes, this is good.
good.
More
This is like a very.
please. Ooh, this is
okay,
great.
Wow. All right, we got it.
We also bless cash. If you don't have anything in your pocket but some greenbacks, you can bring that up and we'll bless that too.
All right. Whew.
So,
We're ready.
we're ready? Are we going to
We're
bless
here.
these things?
We've got them,
Wait a
right?
minute, wait, let's see if I'm ignited. Wait, ooh. It's going to happen.
Here we go.
It's going to happen. Let me see.
Here we go.
Fired up, fired up, fired up. It's going to
All
happen.
right,
It's going to
we're
happen. Okay, turn them off.
All
now.
right. Okay.
Oh, put them away. We just wanted to make sure they work. Today we have with us the stuff we need for school and work. During the last few weeks, many of you have returned to offices and classrooms, some virtually. Most of us are now back face-to-face quite often. Both children and adult members of our congregation have once again re-engaged in the work and the learning of the world. Here, nearing the start of autumn, we hold hopes and dreams that arrive with the start of the school year and the end of the summer.
There will be, now raise your hand if this applies to you. Homework. Will there be homework? Yes.
yes.
I know the grown-ups have homework too. That's
Yeah,
true.
That's right.
Books to be read. Anyone? Yeah? Math problems to be solved. Art to be created. And all of the things every one of us engages in as part of the learning and the working process.
It'll be busy. Some days you will have so much to do, you'll feel as though you never can possibly complete it all. Other days your workload will be lighter. But on each and every day, you will have to step forward and lean deeply into the learning.
Some days we will be happy. I've had some of those. Anybody else?
Good days.
Yeah, good days, good school
Yeah.
days. Some days we might feel sad. I've had those too. Some
You can
days
hold
the
it.
world may feel like a scary place. That's good. Just hang on to it over
That's
there.
it.
We'll still bless it.
We'll bless it like this.
And maybe more than we want to admit, some days we may feel a little alone.
I feel alone sometimes.
Me too.
Sometimes. But when that happens, here's what I suggest, guys. Close your eyes and remember the people in this room. Remember the people in your church family. Know that we are with you, we are holding you, we are loving you. And know that you really are never, ever truly alone. Never. And now I invite you all to join us in the spirit of prayer, of compassion, of caring, and of electricity.
It's time.
We bless
these
people
people
and their
Their
possessions as they stand ready to commit themselves to study
and
and
learning in
and
the year
caring.
ahead.
As they follow their dreams and embrace the challenges that lie in front of them. Let their cell phones, calculators, tablets, laptops, crayons, rulers, scissors, glue sticks, bags, backpacks, and satchels be filled with love and kindness.
And as they move move through this school year and year of work, may they be reminded of the love streaming. I need some streaming. Get your hands up. You have wands too.
There you go.
Stream it out. Streaming love from this congregation. And the support that surrounds them every single day. And we have a couple little backpack bling back there you can pick up if you haven't already, so you can be reminded of all that love every day.
All that love. We also want to offer a blessing to all of those who work. The teachers and the administrators serving our schools, the nurses, the first responders, and healthcare workers who are toiling every day. We also bless our local, state, and federal and government workers who keep us on track, who manage things for us. And lastly, all of those who are working for and leading other businesses in this community, the things that sustain us and make our lives livable.
Let them be reminded that this congregation embraces their call to toil, teach, and serve, and supports them as they take care of and work with our loved ones. May goodness, blessings, and joy. A little bit more.
More joy?
More joy. More joy. Just a little bit more.
Joy.
Yes, there we
Good.
go.
Oh,
Sorry.
streaming joy.
I messed
That's good.
up our script. There
No,
we go.
that's good. May goodness, blessings,
blessings,
and joy surround all of you.
Blessed
be
Ashanti.
Ashanti. Amen.
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 Hi, Martina.
And you guys can go back to your seats now.
Blessings.
Blessings.
Extra blessings.
Ooh, some over there.
Extra blessings over there. You got it. Sam, is this yours right here? Maybe a little extra blessing. Sigh a little bit for you.
Lots of blessings.
Oh, somebody's purse here. Is this mine now? No, it's yours. Okay, great. We'll give like extra blessings. Thank you very much.
Thank you. On this watery day, where it's raining, and there's lots of water inside here for our rituals, I offer you a story of a Zen master and his mentee. This is called the sieve. A Zen master and his disciple made their way across the sand to the shore. The disciple, the mentee, was carrying a cup and a sieve. At the water's edge, they stood on a rock where the sea was breaking all around them in great frothy swirls. "Show me," said the master to his mentee, "how you would fill a sieve with water." The mentee looked at the sieve and considered, fill a sieve with water. Fill a sieve with water. Not working so well, is it? The sieve's not holding the water. The mentee got frustrated and he tried again. Fill a sieve with water. I don't know, Master. This isn't holding the water. The master watched him, and he said, "That's not the way to fill a sieve with water, nor is it a way for our human spirits to be refilled." The master reached out his hands, and he looked at the sieve, and he looked at the water, and he said, "Maybe if you take the sieve and place it in the water." Now, you all can't see this, but the water is now filling the bottom of the sieve. All of that water that ran through the holes came back together, and together it is filling the bottom of the sieve. The student was surprised that the sieve could actually be filled. The master felt like the student had learned a lesson. And this is what he said: "It will always be this way. That is how you fill a sieve with water. That is how you fill yourself with spirit. You come together and fill from the bottom up. You bring all of the drops of water into one place, and they fill that sieve right up so nothing is left empty." Think about that. The tiny individual drops, molecules of water can come together and fill something that is filled with holes. Later, we're going to talk to you about the we being more important than the I. In this little story, the single drop of water is important, but what they can do all gathered together is vitally important. The story of the sieve. How many of you all are movie or music fans? So there's a thing that happens when you get to a certain level of stardom that your name often has only one word: Cher, Aretha, Marilyn, Bogart. There's a film series, was a TV series, but now it's a film series that I'm very fond of that also has one-word characters. The crew of the Starship Enterprise has one-word names: Scotty, Chekhov, Uhuru, McCoy, Data, for you new Star Trek fans, and of course, Kirk. Captain James T. Kirk. Did you know the T was for Tiberius? Do you know what Tiberius is? Anybody? River. Captain James T. Kirk and his merry band of officers on the Starship Enterprise also had several pithy lines that they happened to say. "Live long and prosper," said Spock. "Sometimes a feeling is all we humans have to go on," said Captain Kirk. "Beam me up, Scotty." That's another one that Kirk would say when he was in trouble. And McCoy, "Damn it, Jim." And Spock, "I believe that's highly illogical." And also Spock, to James T. Kirk, "I have been and always will be your friend." In the 1982 film, The Wrath of Khan, Spock says these words that I'm repeatedly drawn to. "Logic clearly dictates that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few." With the Enterprise in imminent danger of complete destruction, our single-named heroes and heroines were in a state of shock and frenzy on the bridge. That's when Spock quietly slipped away, out the door, down an elevator, towards the engine room. His goal was to get the engines back online and to save the USS Enterprise. It took him less than a moment to enter a chamber that was filled with highly radioactive, poisonous fumes. He went in, he closed and locked the door behind himself. He reaches a gloved hand into a small opening, and the hyperdrive is back online. The crew, his friends, can now escape the imminent danger that was going to destroy their ship. Spock perishes in that act. But with his final breaths, he says to Captain Kirk, who is outside of the chamber now, "Don't grieve, Kirk. It is logical. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one." What are we to make of this sentence, of Spock's behavior, and those final actions on the Wrath of Khan, of his sacrificing his own body, his own spirit, his entire life to serve the needs of the many? What do we take from that? What are we to make of that? It's actually quite simple. In times of dire stress, in times when his friends and his crewmates were going to be killed, Spock chose them over himself. It's simple, really. He made a choice. When Captain Kirk said to his chief engineer, "Scotty, I need warp speed in 3 minutes or we're all going to be dead," Spock does the oh-so-human thing, not the logical thing a Vulcan might do. He does the oh-so-human thing and puts the needs of others in front of his own. As human beings, we all have the capability to intentionally choose where our efforts go. We don't have to do the logical thing. We can choose compassion over cruelty. We can choose love over logic. We are beings that can and do give immense value to relationships and to belonging. We decide over and over again and again that the space between reason and emotion is the place where we want to live fully. It may seem that in this case, Spock picked the least of two very, very bad options. He could die, or the entire crew could have died. He didn't choose a terrible option. Instead, he decided to serve his community. He decided to make the only choice that was actually possible for him. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. The needs of the many. In serving his community, Spock also served himself and his highest calling. So shall it continue to be that way. Let us remember the needs of the many instead of the needs of the few.
In a congregation like ours, we create the community that we seek by our actions, by our presence together, and by the promises that we make. We want to invite you this morning to read aloud our congregational covenant, which you'll find printed inside your order of service. Covenants tell a story often of where we have been. And you might see the history of this congregation in the covenant's words as they stand now. Covenants also hold the present, how we seek to be together. And covenants point us toward the future. Indeed, they may be written and rewritten to build the world we dream of creating. I invite you now to stand in body or in spirit as Greg and Rev CTC join me in reflecting back to you and inviting you to share in voice the words of our congregational covenant. We covenant with each other, promising our goodwill and honest effort, pledging our care and support to one another and to our church community, challenging one another to live in accord with our Unitarian Universalist principles. with this common purpose as our source, we covenant to welcome all who come to us with acceptance and respect for the differences among us, to practice patience and speak the truth directly and with compassion, to reflect carefully about the potential results of our words and actions before we speak or act, to keep our discussions to topics and issues rather than personalities, to acknowledge that we may not always agree with the group decisions, but we will support and participate in decision-making processes that are collaborative and democratic, to seek to resolve disagreements to our mutual satisfaction and ask for help when needed, to speak directly to those with whom we have disagreements, to facilitate direct communication between parties in conflict when appropriate, to act with loving kindness, seeking to promote justice, equity, and compassion, to speak out with loving kindness when we witness disrespectful interactions, to understand that building our beloved community requires learning and practice. I invite you to stay standing because although we may make these promises in long sentences, we often live them out by singing. Rev CTC, would you like to tell them what hymn we're singing now? Rev CTC is pretty excited about this hymn. I think you will be too.
So, if you need a hymnal, it's number 1064. If you don't, it's Blue Boat Home.
There you go.
I will tell you a very short thing about this song. We were in a meeting last Monday. We have a worship team meeting, and we plan these services. They're one of the best meetings that I get to go to all week long. Amanda leads us through every element, every step. We line things up. We figure it out. I said in the meeting a couple weeks ago, so we have to sing Blue Boat Home.
That's the way she said it, just like
Because
that.
it's Water Communion Sunday. And there was a bit of, well,
Maybe
some people don't like this song as much.
fit?
Maybe we can sing it later in September. We are going to sing Blue Boat Home because it's Water Communion Sunday. Okay, Rev CTC. Well, we are going to sing Blue Boat Home, number 1064. Sing loudly.
Gotta get going.
Okay, are you ready? Same way.
Low below me, I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor nor port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my boat
So I'm learning that maybe there can never be enough Blue Boat Home as I, as I settle in. Yes, and thank you, Mariel, for lovely, lovely singing. It's really wonderful to be here and to see all your faces and welcome you. Many of you know that, and we celebrate, that UUCA has a long history of working towards social justice that continues to this day. We work so that folks can make homes in their communities, access healthy foods, and have more power over the choices in their own lives. Today, we hold up Mayan students in Guatemala as they build skills through education that will help them thrive in the world. You may be familiar with Guatemalan Scholarship Partners. They work with students in Guatemala to provide access to resources needed for students to complete their education. This year, Guatemalan Scholarship Partners supported 14 students who graduated with degrees in accounting, business administration, computer science, and education. And there are 52 students enrolled in the program today. You can read more about them in today's order of service. 70% of your gift today will go to Guatemalan Scholarship Partners. This is what we mean when we say share the plate. 30% of your gift will go toward the ongoing work of our congregation. There are many ways to give, and we want to make giving easy for you. So you can put your gift in the plate here today, or give virtually using one of the methods listed in your order of service or on your screen. And you can give any time, not only today. So we will now receive your gifts and the gift of music. The usher would come forward.
Hold on to me as we go, as we roll down this unfamiliar road. Although this weight is stringing us along, just know you're not alone. I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it will all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons that fill you with fear. Trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Oh, 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 oh. Settle down, it will all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. Trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can only be found. Just know you're not alone. I'm gonna make this place your home. Oh, 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 oh. Just know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
Woohoo! Oh, folks, it's the band. Woohoo! All right, we have some music here today. Is it my turn? Aren't you coming up for this story? Come on up here. You're making me nervous.
I'd like to bless the offering.
I know.
First, if that
Oh,
would be okay.
shoot. Sit
Yeah,
back
see,
down, get so excited.
I know, that music gets us going each time. We were able to hear it the first service, and it was just as wonderful the second time. Thank you, Steve. Yep.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. Going to church. I'm just going to church today. It's all right.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. We bless and receive these gifts, opening our hearts to true generosity. Join me in saying, let us be grateful when we give, be it time, talent, or treasure, for giving brings us joy. Let us be grateful for our needs and the experience of vulnerability, for they teach us how to receive in community and love. Let us be grateful to those who share their gifts to nurture this congregation, for it is a blessing to make a difference together.
Thank you, Greg. That was very nice. Blessing. Thank you all for that beautiful blessing. And the music is indeed a blessing. From Steve and our band and Mariel, who was joined at 9:15 by Kyla. We have been deeply blessed today by music and by story. And so now we're actually going to tell a story, Greg.
Excellent.
Thanks for that. This story comes from our colleague Christopher Buis, and it's called Rivers. Now, once upon a time, there were two rivers flowing side by side. Both rivers liked to argue about who was the best.
The water in my river is better than the water in your river, said one.
No, the water in my river is better than the water in your river, said the other. The two rivers would flow along all day, arguing about which river was the best. Both were quite sure they were the greatest.
Doesn't my water make a joyful sound as it runs over the smooth, polished pebbles on my riverbed? And look at the way the sun reflects off the ripples and eddies that form around the granite boulders at my edge. These things are so beautiful. Surely I am the best river, said the first.
The other river replied, but look at all the fish that swim in my clear, cool water. And have you heard the frogs singing at night? They live in the reeds and lilies that grow at my banks. I am home to so many wonderful creatures. Surely I must be the very best river.
Well, the two continued to argue until one day, something strange and unexpected happened. The rivers rounded a bend, slid down a small falls, and suddenly saw that they were flowing towards something much bigger and greater than themselves. Up ahead were big, crashing waves and water everywhere for as far as they could see. They continued to rush faster and faster until the water from both rivers churned together into the vast and enormous ocean.
Then a sound came from the sky. It came from a cloud that chuckled for a moment and said, now you see how foolish you have been, arguing about who is the best. There is no highest or lowest. There is no greatest or least. All things are one, and all are joined together like rivers to the sea. Like rivers to the sea. This story, of course, not coincidentally, reminds me of what we do at Water Communion, bringing our water with us from wherever it was that we found it, perhaps a lake or a river, maybe our kitchen tap when we suddenly remembered that we were supposed to bring water into church today, maybe from the water fountain when we didn't remember that until we came to church today, whatever. The water brought from near and far, mingling together. I participated in water communion when I was growing up in the Unitarian Universalist congregation up in Albany, New York. And I remember all summer those little film canisters. Some of you remember film canisters, some of you do not remember film canisters, but they were actually quite convenient for holding things. And we would gather our water, and I think we gathered dirt in that congregation too. And I don't know did we make mud or something? I can't remember that part. We would bring our water in the little film canisters and bring it forward. We usually did forget to get it at wherever it was we had been over the summer, so it was tap water that was representative of the water from the lake or the river or the place at my Girl Scout camp or whatever it might be. Now, when I was growing up, the way we did water communion was people brought their water forward and they said out loud where it came from. This water came from my garden hose. This water came from the camp where I spend summers. This water came from the melting snows of Mount Kilimanjaro, which I mounted over the summer, hiking to the summit. Oh, this water came from Hawaii, so the lava has blessed it, and I was there. And this water came from an incredible trip all through Europe that I took together. One by one, we shared our stories, and this congregation maybe did something of the same. Many congregations did around the country. But we started to notice something in that congregation where I grew up, and maybe here too. Perhaps you can guess. Those of us who had water from the kitchen tap or from the creek down the road began to wonder if our water was as good as the water that came from the melting snows of Mount Kilimanjaro, and whether we ought to bring our water, after all, forward, whether it deserved to be with all that melted snow water. And suddenly the water communion felt more like a competition for whose river was best, and as we just learned from that story, the answer is all the rivers go into the sea, up to the clouds and down as rain. And so today, as we have gathered our water together, perhaps we'll share our stories with each other in coffee hour of where we found our water or what it's representative of, what waters we bathed in or walked by or swam in this summer. But we will also know the deeper truth that no matter where the water comes from, no matter what our own story is, no matter whether fish swim in our river or pebbles are on its riverbed, it is the coming together that makes a difference. The water gathered from all our lives to become the sacred water of this congregation, held by community. That's actually a cell phone, even though it sounded very beautiful. Like, I thought it was Sophia. It was like, that was nice at the end. That was really lovely. We are creating music today and Topher's picking it up on the bass. Dang. Oh, it's lovely. Do you want to bless the water, FCTC? That's what it says I'm supposed to do. Yes, ma'am. Music everywhere.
There's music everywhere.
Amen.
So we have water here today, which my friends in the back are going to bring forward. Some of that water you all brought in with you and added it to pitchers in the back of the room. Some of that water came right out of that kitchen over there on the other side of Fellowship Hall. It's representative is what matters. This water represents our coming back together, our agreeing to be in community once more, our return to the home place that is filled with sacredness and love and joy and compassion. Will you please add your waters to this vase? Thank you. Thank you. The mingling of waters is symbolic. This is a tradition that happens in many cultures all around the world. We have adopted it to Unitarian Universalism. What we would like to do that's just a little bit different today is offer you the chance to touch these mingled waters. After the service is over, there are 2 tables up front. You can come forward and simply touch the water if you would like to, or you can place a shell or a stone in the smaller bowl of water that'll be on these 2 tables up here. We won't do this now during the service, but I absolutely invite you to come forward, to touch these mingled waters, to touch a shell or a stone to the waters, to remember that these are part of us and you are part of it. Would you guys please take some of this? So Greg and Amanda are going to fill these smaller bowls, and they'll be on the tables for you to come forward after our service. You're welcome. And touch the water. And if you just happen to have one of those film canisters in your pocket, you can fill it up with a little bit of this water and take it home too. Blessings on this community. Blessings on this mingled water. Blessings on our coming home.
Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí, que el corazón cantaré tu compasión. Sopla volar sobre la mar, hasta moldear la justicia de la vida. Arregame, libérame, fuente de amor, ven a mí, Spirit of light, come unto me, sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion, blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Our benediction this service brings us back to a tradition I have heard tell about. They tell me there was a time when people in this congregation held hands at the end of a service. So I know. And so I want to invite you to rise in body or in spirit. If you would like to hold the hand of someone near you, just put your hand out with an invitation, and they'll take it if they'd like to. If you would like to just hold your hand out in blessing, that is a beautiful way to contribute to this moment as well. So that is your choice as we gather together. And we need your voices too for this benediction. When I raise my hand, you are going to respond with, "We are coming home." Let's try that. I invite you to say with me, "We are coming home." All right. Well, the water is merged,
The water is merged.
mingling past and future, brought from our wanderings near and far.
We are coming home. The backpacks are blessed, symbols of the care and love we find here. Bring that out into the world. Carry it into your dorm rooms and your houses and apartments. We are coming home.
The stories are told, The songs are sung. The sanctuary is filled again with our prayers, our wiggles, our presence together.
We are coming home.
In a world always changing, with a long remembered ritual amidst a people ever growing,
We are coming home. We are home.
May it be so.
May it be so.
Amen. I wanna get Hans.
Oh.
Let the river run, let all the dreamers wake the nation. Come, the new Jerusalem. Silver cities rise, the morning lights, the streets that lead them, and sirens call them on with a song. It's asking for the taking, trembling, shaking. Oh, my heart is aching. We're coming to the edge, running on the water, coming through the fog, your sons and daughters. We, the great and small, stand on a star and blaze a trail of desire through the darkling dawn. It's asking for the taking. Come run with me now. The sky is the color of blue you've never been seen in the eyes of your love.